Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking a truly profound journey into one of the world's most influential spiritual texts. This isn't just about ancient history, not at all. It's really about unlocking wisdom that, well, feels incredibly insightful, practical even, for right now. Think of this as your shortcut, maybe, to really getting a handle on a topic that might seem, dense, but it's actually remarkably rich, full of those aha moments. We are talking about the Bhagavad Gita, an eternal guide to life. People often call it the Song of Good, and it really holds a paramount place in spiritual literature. It's an incredible text, composed, they say, over 5,000 years ago. Just amazing. And it's a 700-verse dialogue, sort of nestled within this much, much larger Indian epic, the Mahabharata.
And here's where it gets really interesting, I think, the context. Because this entire dialogue, this profound teaching, it unfolds in maybe the most surprising setting imaginable, a battlefield.
Battlefield, right?
Yeah, specifically the field of Kurukshetra. And it's happening right before this massive catastrophic war is about to kick off. But the fascinating thing, the paradox, is that despite this really intense war-torn backdrop, the Gita is emphatically not a call to arms, not about violence. Instead, it's always described as this deep philosophical guide for navigating life's complexities and maybe most importantly, our own inner struggles.
That's such a striking image, isn't it? That contrast. So, okay, picture this. Prince Arjuna, he's a mighty warrior standing there ready, but then he's just overcome a total moral confusion. He looks out, sees his own family, his teachers, his friends, all lined up on the other side.
Yeah, it hits him hard.
He's paralyzed, basically. Grief, doubt.
Yeah.
It's so much so that he lays down his bones, says he can't fight.
Right, a complete refusal.
And that's the moment. That's when the charioteer steps in. And this charioteer is actually Lord Krishna, who is, considered an avatar of the divine.
And it's Krishna's teachings right there in that moment of crisis that form the absolute essence of the Bhagavad Gita. And these teachings, they tackle some of the most timeless, universal themes we all grapple with.
Like what specifically?
Well, things like self-realization, finding your true purpose, the idea of dharma, which is sort of like righteous duty or your right path, and karma, action and its consequences, also detachment, learning to let go of outcomes, and the path of devotion. Big stuff.
Wow, okay. So with that incredibly dramatic setup right there on the battlefield, what are these core ideas Krishna shares that still feel so powerful? Our mission here, for you listening, is to pull out the most important nuggets from this ancient wisdom, to really get why it's still so relevant today. Okay, let's unpack this. So one of the first big ideas Krishna brings up for Arjuna and, well, for us too, is this concept called nishkama karma.
Nishkama karma.
It often gets translated as like doing your duty, performing your actions with sincerity, but without getting, attached to the results.
Exactly. And what's so insightful there is Krishna telling Arjuna very directly something like, you have a right to perform your duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions.
That's counterintuitive for us, maybe.
Well, think about it. Think about all the stress we create for ourselves chasing specific results. The promotion, the perfect grade, the win. The Gita kind of flips that. It says, put your energy into the action itself. Do your absolute best, and then let go. Let go of demanding a particular outcome.
Let go.
Yeah. That release, that's where the freedom from anxiety is supposed to lie. It doesn't matter so much if you succeed or fail by those external measures. It's about the quality of the effort.
That is a really powerful shift. And bringing it back to Arjuna, his paralysis initially, it came exactly from being overwhelmed by the potential results, right? The horror of killing his kin.
Precisely. He was completely attached to those potential outcomes.
So Krishna's teaching on nishkama karma is like the direct antidote to that. It offers a way to act, even decisively, without being crippled by what might happen.
Exactly. And building on that, the Gita really tackles those internal battles head on. Arjuna's paralysis there on the field. It's not just about the external war. It's this profound metaphor for all the ethical tangles and the intense fears we all face inside.
The inner battlefield.
Totally. When he drops his bow, he's basically showing us what it looks like to be just consumed by inner conflict. Duty versus love, fear versus courage. And Krishna's guidance throughout the whole Gita, it's like a practical blueprint for finding clarity, finding courage, making decisions from wisdom, not just raw emotion.
Okay, so when we feel frozen, maybe by fear or just overwhelmed by a tough decision, the Gita is suggesting there's a way to navigate that internal landscape. And beneath all these practices, selfless action, inner balance, there's this ultimate goal Krishna points towards, isn't there? Like the main point of it all.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. The Gita is very clear that self-realization is, paramount. the ultimate aim. Krishna keeps emphasizing that beyond this temporary body, beyond our constantly changing thoughts and feelings, there's the eternal self, the Atman.
The Atman, the eternal self.
Right. And true peace, real fulfillment, according to the Gita, comes when you realize this divine nature within yourself. It teaches that fundamentally all beings are eternal souls, just, residing temporarily in these physical forms. Enlightenment is really knowing that truth.
Wow. That is a massive shift in perspective. I mean, if
Yeah.
your true identity isn't your job or how you look or even your fleeting moods, what does that actually change about how you handle challenges?
Yeah.
Or react when someone criticizes you? Or even just how you define your own worth?
Right.
It really makes you rethink how much energy we pour into stressing about things that are ultimately maybe beyond our control or just temporary anyway.
It really does. And the Gita gives practical advice on how to even begin tapping into that understanding. A big part of it is balance.
Balance. Okay.
Balance in all aspects of life. It's not about extremes, not harsh asceticism, but also not just unchecked indulgence. Krishna really promotes moderation in food, speech, actions, even sleep and recreation. He discourages going too far one way or the other because that balanced life, that's the foundation for a peaceful mind. And you need a peaceful mind for any kind of deeper insight or, frankly, just to get through the day effectively.
So it's not about giving everything up and becoming a hermit.
No, not necessarily. Not for everyone, anyway.
It's more about finding that middle path, that sweet spot in everyday living where you're engaged but not sort of consumed by it all.
Exactly that. Engaged but not consumed. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the Gita actually lays out multiple paths to reach that self-realization. There's karma yoga, the path of action we talked about. There's jnana yoga, the path of knowledge and discernment. And bhakti yoga, the path of devotion.
Multiple paths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it places a really strong emphasis on surrender to the divine as the highest path. Krishna actually assures Arjuna, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear.
Surrender. That word can sound passive, maybe. Like giving up.
It's often misunderstood that way. But in this context, it's less about passive resignation and more about aligning your individual will with a higher purpose, a sort of active trust. Trusting that aligning with the divine or universal intelligence, whatever term resonates, will lead to the greatest good, even if you can't see the whole picture. It's presented as the ultimate release from suffering.
Okay. So bringing this all together,
Yeah.
what does this ancient text really mean for us living now? I mean, despite being millennia old, the guidance in the Bhagavad Gita feels remarkably enduring, doesn't it?
It really does.
In a world that feels like it's just overflowing with stress, endless distractions, constant ethical gray areas, the Gita seems to offer this timeless wisdom, how to live with purpose, how to act with integrity, how to maintain that crucial inner peace.
Yes. And it really encourages us to try and rise above the ego, to perform our responsibilities, whatever they are, with a sense of devotion almost, and to look for meaning beyond just, material success or external validation.
And it seems to apply so broadly.
It really does. It's a testament to its universal appeal, I think. Whether you're a student facing big choices or a professional in a complex career, or maybe you're actively on a spiritual path, or maybe you're just someone trying to make sense of everyday life and its challenges.
Yeah.
The wisdom seems to resonate across time, across cultures, different belief systems. It's presented not just as like a holy book, but as a really practical guide, a kind of roadmap, you could say, for living a life that's courageous, ethical, and ultimately spiritually fulfilling.
Roadmap, I like that.
And maybe here's a final thought to leave you with, something to mull over. If the Gita is right, if true peace and fulfillment really come from realizing our eternal self, that Atman, which is beyond the temporary body and the shifting mind, then how might really embracing that ancient perspective challenge or maybe fundamentally shift our modern ideas about success and well-being? The ones that so often focus mainly on external achievements, what we own, physical things, fleeting pleasures. How does the Gita's view stack up against that? That is a powerful question to ponder. And it really highlights how these ancient texts keep offering such profound insights into, the human condition. We definitely encourage you to explore that question further for yourself.